Rachel was only 16 when the two purple lines changed her life. Senior 4 mocks were around the corner, and instead of worrying about algebra, she was worrying about a heartbeat growing inside her. When her parents found out, the house in Kyendra exploded with shouting and shame. Her father called her a wasted investment, and her mother refused to look at her. Within 2 days, Rachel was standing on a gateway bus heading to Misaka, carrying one small bag, swollen feet, and a belly she tried to hide under her sweater. Shwenkumku was slow and green. Her grandmother, Jaja Agnes, welcomed her without a single question. Abazad Nebobafa, she always muttered, as if parents too sometimes die while still breathing. Jaja nursed her through the birth, and when the girl arrived screaming and tiny, they named her Angel. From the beginning, Angel looked at the world with the same bright eyes as Rachel, like she already knew life was a difficult exam. Money was scarce, so Jaja dug gardens and wove mats while Rachel learned to soothe colic and change napkins. When Angel turned 1, Jaja marched to Blessed Sacrament Secondary and pleaded until they accepted Rachel back. So Rachel went to school during the day and learned motherhood at night. Somehow she reached senior 6. Angel was almost 3 when sickness silently ambushed Jaja. Typhoid turned into something bigger, and before Rachel could understand hospital bills or prescriptions, the only person who had not abandoned her was lowered into the red Misaka soil. Grief didn't give space for fear. Rachel strapped Angel on her back and entered survival mode. Kampala became her hunting ground. She hawked roasted groundnuts at the taxi park, worked lunchtime shifts in noisy restaurants, and even served beer in dim bars where men with bellies like drums tried to touch her waist for tips. Then one Sunday, after months of hustling, she found a job at a nursery school in Makindai. The pay was small, but the director agreed to sponsor Angel once she was old enough. For the first time, life seemed to exhale. People in the neighborhood kept confusing them for sisters. Rachel didn't correct them. It felt like a small reward from God for not dying in the struggle. Angel grew into a tall, sharp-tongued beauty with dimples and eyes that copied Rachel like carbon paper. At the nursery school, she became everyone's mascot. Parents asked whether Rachel had birthed her in secondary. Teachers joked they were twins separated by a few report cards. Meanwhile, Rachel saved every stray coin, bought secondhand dresses from a wino, and slowly transformed from a tired teen mother into a woman who could walk through Kampala with her head lifted. By the time Angel joined University for Law, Rachel was 39 and finally breathing without counting coins. Angel's admission party in Najanangkumbi buzzed with music and perfume. Among the guests was a man named Ray, broad-shouldered, smooth-talking, and wearing a watch that could pay a semester's tuition at Makerere. He claimed he was turning 42, but money had polished him until he looked 30-something. He offered Angel a glass of juice and a grin that felt like a promise. Their chemistry crackled louder than the DJ's speakers. The relationship sprinted instead of walking. Ray began sponsoring Angel quietly, fees, books, internships abroad. Rachel worried at first, but Ray behaved like a gentleman and never crossed boundaries. Angel graduated in a gold gown, and Ray stood in the crowd clapping like a proud father, except his eyes lingered too long to be parental. After graduation, he formally visited Rachel's small home in Makindai, carrying shopping bags and an envelope stuffed with appreciation. He asked for Angel's hand in marriage. Rachel's heart trembled. She remembered how many streets she had swept, how many bar counters she had wiped just to keep Angel alive. Now someone was offering her daughter luxury wrapped in love. The introduction ceremony in Misaka was grand, fueled cars, singing aunties, and envelopes flying like confetti. Ray's relatives adored Angel, calling her Lawyer Waff. Wedding planning followed with speed and money. Dresses were imported, venues booked, and Angel floated in happiness, whispering to her mother that life was finally paying them back for the suffering. Rachel smiled and agreed, though at night, she stared at the ceiling and prayed that blessings wouldn't ask for receipts later. The night before the wedding, Ray arrived with his best man and crates of drinks for the final preparations. Rachel opened the door in a loose kaitenge, hair tied, smelling of blue magic and soap. Ray paused like he had seen a memory he didn't know he owned. He helped carry boxes to the spare room, but his eyes kept drifting back to Rachel. Later, when the house was quiet and the best man had stepped outside to answer calls, Ray whispered, "You hid
Angel
yourself
looks
too
like you,
well."
but you
Rachel
look like a
blinked,
secret.
confused.
A secret.
He
I
added,
like that.
"Angel looks like you, but you look like a secret." She laughed it off, thinking it was champagne talking. The wedding day sparkled. Angel walked down the aisle glowing like a billboard of happiness. Cameras flashed, aunties ululated, and Rachel cried quietly in the pew. But after dinner at Serena, while guests danced, Ray slipped away from the ballroom. He found Rachel in the corridor, still adjusting her galley. "5 minutes," he begged, voice soft. She refused at first, but Ray's charm pulled like gravity. They ended up in a guest room where forbidden things happened with alarming ease, soft, urgent, and soaked in guilt. When Ray finally returned to Angel, no one suspected anything. Not even Angel, who was too busy thanking God for giving her a man who adored her. Married life began beautifully. Ray rented them a house in Munionio near the lake, and Angel started her clerkship at a law firm. But the late-night meetings Ray claimed to have, those became frequent. He bought Rachel a secret phone and filled her fridge in Macondai with groceries. He called her "my first sunrise" and told her she deserved the world. Rachel tried to stop it, swore she would block him, prayed for strength. Yet every time he showed up, she melted like she had never been loved before. Angel started noticing things. Lip gloss stains not hers in Ray's Prado. Perfume on his suits that smelled faintly of coconut and baby powder, the same scent Rachel always wore. One afternoon, she cried to her mother about it. Rachel held her, stroked her hair, and said maybe he was simply working too hard. Men get careless, don't jump to conclusions. Angel nodded, reassured, completely unaware she was being comforted by the co-wife she didn't know she had. The truth began to drip instead of explode. One Friday, Angel borrowed Rachel's wrapper from the wardrobe while helping with laundry. As she pulled it out, a gold bracelet fell to the floor, engraved with the initials R&R. Angel wondered, fighting the thought that it meant Rachel and Ray. When she asked casually, Rachel's face stiffened, and she snatched it back with a trembling hand. That night, Angel lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan as suspicion clung to her skin like humidity. The final blow came during Christmas in Misaka. Ray claimed he was traveling to Mbarara for business, but Angel later learned from a cousin that he had been seen at the Misaka Golf Club with a woman who looked like her older twin. Angel rushed there with a boda, dust and wind clawing at her face. She found Ray's car parked under a jacaranda tree. Through the window of a private cottage, she saw them. Ray's voice low, Rachel's laugh unmistakable. Angel froze. The world tilted. She didn't scream or knock. She simply walked away, the boda man asking if she was okay and she whispering, "Just drive." Back in Kampala, Angel packed quietly. She wrote a note for Ray. "You chose your sunrise. I'll choose my dignity." For Rachel, she wrote nothing. Silence was heavier. She rented a small apartment in Kasasi, returned Ray's cards, and withdrew from everyone. Months passed. Ray chased her at first, then stopped when Rachel told him to let the girl heal. Rachel wanted to fix things, but bridges once burned don't grow back. Ray eventually moved abroad for work. The rumor was that he married a Kenyan businesswoman. Rachel stayed in Macondai, aging fast, hair graying, eyes dim. Years later, Angel graduated from the bar course and opened her own tiny chamber. She never remarried. At family events, she greeted Rachel politely, calling her mama but never hugging. The wound never closed. It just stopped bleeding. For Rachel, that cold distance was punishment sharper than any stone. She would sit at her window some evenings, watching children walk home from school, whispering to no one, "I didn't mean to steal her life. I just wanted to feel loved before it ended." The world didn't kill them, but it separated them in a way death never could.